All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking Ball with Pat Leonard. Talking Ball live here on Thursday, September 18th. It is week 3. Giants Chiefs. A battle of two 0-2 teams. The Kansas City Chiefs are actually in a position where the Giants, despite being winless, could bury the AFC reigning champs, team that's been to 5 Super Bowls recently with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo. The Giants could play the spoiler while also saving their season, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a huge challenge. We all know what Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and an offense that probably is going to get back Xavier Worthy can pose. And really, the Giants, despite scoring 37 points in Dallas and despite putting a better showing on the field as a team, especially offensively, and having a 90% chance to win that game at the end with 13 or 14 seconds to play before Dak Prescott dropped back and hit Jake Ferguson for that 18-yard gain, setting up that Brandon Aubrey field goal to send it to overtime. Despite all of that, the Giants at the moment just need to take care of themselves. It's not about the Chiefs and what they're not doing. It's not about the Chiefs not being able to run the ball and being in too many third and longs. And it's not about Kansas City failing to get a win against the Chargers and Eagles and looking vulnerable. It is about the Giants taking care of their own business. Because when you listen to Brian Daboll and Shane Bowen and the players this week, I'll center on Bowen to start. The Giants defensive coordinator struck a similar tone to what Brian Daboll struck after the game in Dallas. You kind of expected from Daboll after nearly beating the Cowboys and scoring so many points to puff out his chest and say, look what we did here. I told you Russell Wilson wasn't done. I told you we still had it. And yet he was acting like a coach whose fate was almost resigned if he didn't start getting results, knowing that nothing matters except for wins. We fast forward to Thursday, where we are here this afternoon, talking to Shane Bowen at the podium, and he's standing there taking full accountability and essentially falling on the sword. You know, you often see coaches try to spin something like this, try to make excuses, and maybe just talk in generalities and never really get to the root of the issue. But Shane Bowen not running from it, to his credit, saying, I have to be better. He told the Giants players, I have to be better. I have to put you in a better position, especially on that play, playing soft quarters coverage to give up that completion to set up that field goal and eventually lead to the loss. And you could hear in Bowen's tone, just like you could hear in Brian Daboll's tone, a coaching staff that knows that it's getting late very early here. Here to talk about is the pulse of the team, the pulse of the fan base. Very excited in a little bit to bring on Joe Becker, diehard Giants fan, should be Giants fan of the year. And he's a ticket holder. He's a diehard. He's at the tailgates. He's at the stadium. He was down in Washington in week 1. He's seen this team up close already. He's passionate and knowledgeable. And I think you guys, the fan base, deserve representatives throughout this, whether it's content creators. We've had Authentic on here, whether it's diehard fans who also create good content like Joe. I'm excited to bring him on, to have a voice of the fan, a voice of the people on here to kind of represent where this stands, where you guys think this might be headed, and so we can chop it up, and we'll get to that soon. We are brought to you here by MyBookie, hooks, rubs, and spices, Boom Chaga mushroom super drink, and of course, Sal Loretta for men. We have our codes rolling here on the bottom of the screen, mybookie.ag, where right now I'm sweating out. I got the Bills covering 12.5, and it was tied at halftime after the Dolphins drove there. So go to MyBookie. That's where you can tail all my betting and Pat's picks. The code there is Leonard, my last name, Leonard. And Boom Chaga mushroom super drink, boomchaga.com. Start feeling the difference. It's that natural extract over my shoulder, loaded with anti-inflammatory, immune-boosting antioxidants and heart-healthy compounds. Talking Ball 25 is the code there. We have Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, which sponsors our Giants trivia every week. We'll have a Giants trivia question tonight where we'll do our giveaway. Whoever wins the trivia will win some Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. That's Talking Ball at hooksrub.com. Big Texas barbecue flavor, all natural. and Salaretta for men. Go there, Midland Park, New Jersey, Bergen County, luxury menswear and tailoring, and tell them that Pat Leonard sent you. Reminder, super chats and super stickers will get your comment or question answered first. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you all for being here. Love having these conversations in the middle of Thursday night football as the Bills are trying to go in against the Dolphins. Take a few questions. We'll bring Joe in, and then we'll have a lot of fun talking about the Giants. And hopefully, maybe we can put our heads together and figure out a way that this can get done and this season can get back on track. Chris Spires sets the tone with a $2 super chat, says, wonder why we play so much soft zone. Could answer that, Chris, with that is actually, if you're watching Thursday Night Football on Prime Video right now, that is what Brian Daboll is used to going back to Buffalo with Sean McDermott. And Wink Martindale obviously brought a different type of scheme, a blitz-heavy, aggressive scheme that helped the Giants win some games. But it wasn't something that Brian Daboll was comfortable with. And Brian Daboll, prefers this type of four-man rush, drop zone, something that's a bend but don't break, keeps the offense keeps the ball in front of you, doesn't give up the big play. And that was a compliment to the offense Daboll was running in Buffalo. And so when Martindale resigned and left, Daboll was looking for that type of system. He was looking for more zone in the back end. Despite Martindale creating pressures that generated turnovers and takeaways and things like that, Daboll was more focused on, let's keep enough defenders back so that we don't let things get behind us, and then we'll formulate a better four-man rush in front. And so, Chris, what you're seeing is what Brian Daboll wants, which is more zone and softer zone. Now, nobody wants you to be soft enough in your zone to give up the kind of plays they did in Dallas, but that's the answer. Why going to pay a press corner? Well, they do play man as well, and you do get in situations against teams where you can't just play that zone. Also, Adebo had 7 interceptions last year, so they were encouraged by that. It's more about Adebo can play zone and man. Banks is the one who really is not the fit with Bowen's system because they drafted him to be a press man corner, and now they have him playing in zone. Bowen actually said they played him more in week 2 because he thought he earned it, but also because they were using more man to try to attack what Pickens and CeeDee Lamb were bringing. And so, that was his explanation for getting the right players on the field for the right matchups. But obviously the Giants couldn't figure out a way to slow the Cowboys down when it mattered most. Jacob says, smack that like and sub button for the best reporter in the biz. I appreciate that, Jacob, for setting the tone. And as we get rolling here on Talking Ball live with Pat Leonard, reminder, questions in the queue, Giants trivia coming up, and super chat, super stickers, get your questions or comments answered immediately or next. But without further ado, we are going to get to our voice of the fan, because there is no one who I respect more who roots for this team, because he's knowledgeable and passionate, but not recklessly so. This is somebody who understands the history of this team and also has good perspective, but also represents the fans in a really smart and an energetic way, both on game days and on Talking Ball with Pat Leonard as a diehard. So without further ado, we bring in the one and only Joey B. What's up, Joey B?
What's up, Pat Leonard, everybody? What's going on, chat?
Hey, man, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here. I'm humbled right now because your background and your Giant swag, the
Oh,
Bud
dude, I'm
Light
in the
sign,
cave.
like I
I gotta
look like
be in
an
the cave.
amateur right now.
You know what? You gotta walk a fine line with the job. You can't be too much of a fan. And deep down low, we know you're an Eagles guy.
Stop
So
it.
we're not gonna
Stop
hold it
it.
against you, though. We're not gonna
Stop
hold it
it.
against you, though.
Hey, the 215 area code and growing up there, that's one thing. But Joe, I always tell people, I'm a student at Notre Dame, and this is early in my life. I'm sitting there one week I'm in the stands with my Notre Dame green shirt on as a student, and then the next weekend I'm working for the newspaper and I'm up in the press box with a shirt and tie on, and I can't root and I can't cheer.
Right.
And
Right.
and in that moment I'm telling myself, I'm preparing myself for what I'm doing now, which is getting to a stage where you have to be totally dispassionate. And to be totally honest, I don't know if I've told you this story, but when I was in the moment that it hit me that I really like the fan in me was not really there doing when I'm doing this job is when I was covering Rangers Flyers Winter Classic at Citizens Bank Park in Philly. And,
Okay.
obviously I grew up in Philly rooting for the Flyers, and I'm watching the game and I felt nothing. And like, it's kind of a crappy feeling, to be honest. I mean, I'm not
Right.
complaining. Like, I'm
You gotta
fortunate to do this job.
disassociate yourself.
It's pretty weird. It's a pretty, and then of course, eventually I'm covering Rangers Flyers playoff games, and I got Flyers fans heckling me and telling me to go back to New York because I'm wearing a blue shirt and a red tie.
And meanwhile, you're a Flyer fan.
Meanwhile, I grew up a Flyer fan, and now I'm like, oh, you guys really are kind of like this, huh? So but no, it is a fascinating business. And I'm really excited to have you on, because as much as I try to bring what's inside the locker room and inside the team and what I see, you, somebody who's followed this team for as long, season ticket holder, diehard, and someone who, all you want to do is see this team, make these corrections and find ways to win. And so I'm
Put the
excited to
pieces
hear
together.
what, yeah, right. And so I'm excited to hear what your take is on how this team can do this. Let's just zero in on this week. You come out of that Dallas game as a Giants fan. What are your primary thoughts about this team? What you're watching on the field and where you think this season is headed after watching week 2.
I feel like everyone's right with the defense. Like we should not have given up that much points. We play way too soft. And I think Bowen doesn't make the right call in the right situation. There's so
Mm,
much situational with the talent that we have on defense. And we've added talent. We got a Debo, we got Holland, we drafted Carter, right? We put Flott. Flott is surprisingly good. I like Flott a lot. Um, I can't remember his name. 24.
Belton.
Belton. He's stepped up great. Like, but we can't get stops when we need them.
Yeah.
And that's not New York Giants football. This fan base is used to defense winning championships. It goes back to the 80s, to the 2000s, and now everyone was hyped. Look at preseason. Everyone was like, this is going to be great. Why are Burns and Carter and Thibodeau and Dex only on the field a certain amount of times?
Yeah.
I felt like when I was watching the Dallas game, I felt
Mhm.
like you remember that part and Remember the Titans where they're at the end of the movie and the guy's like, "You blitz all day. You make them remember the night they played the." That's what I kept saying in my head, like blitz them until I destroy Dak. We all hate Dallas, as every Giants fan hates Dallas, but
Yeah.
like I think going into this week, I'm optimistic. I'm very hopeful. Even though we lost last week, it felt good to see them play like a team. It felt good to see the ball get thrown down the field and get caught. There wasn't a lot of three and outs. We actually made drives, runs, check downs, sidelines. Like Wandale's always, in my opinion, has been a great third down receiver. He's always been used. He's like a little bit better of a Sterling Shepard type.
Mm.
And him going downfield and grabbing that ball was nobody expect that. Fantasy people were losing their mind. They had Wandale on their bench. He had the game of his career. So like there's a lot of
Absolutely.
optimism. And I think that Russ for now quieted the critics. He looked like Danger Russ, Mr. Unlimited. He looked like he was doing something out there. He didn't look
Yeah.
like a shell of himself. But again, like, are we going to see that team again this week, or are we going to get week 1 again? And
Right.
I think that's the
Right.
concern. Like, I think that Dable has gotten so much notoriety for his work with Josh Allen that got him this job, and everybody expected it. Okay, well, he had Daniel Jones, and it's Daniel Jones' fault, and Daniel Jones is the quarterback out of Duke, and no one expected Daniel Jones to even be drafted, right? Who's this Daniel Jones guy? So, all right, well, it's not Dable's fault. It was Jones' fault. Jones looks like Steve Young in Indianapolis right now. He's crushing it, right?
He's
But if
like
it
the most
wasn't Jones,
popular like national player right now, like Indiana Jones
unbelievable. They're
everywhere.
calling him Indiana Jones. It's insane. But think about it. Saquon left. Look how good he did. Most rushing yards of his career, 1 year out of here, and a Super Bowl. Daniel Jones was so horrible with us. This dude, look what he did. Look what he did with a line. He has a line. He can see blitzes coming. That guy, he's got blitz so much playing for the Giants. I don't think he's ever going to get sacked again on a blitz because he can read them coming now with some time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like Dable got so much credit with Allen. Like, whose fault is it now?
Mhm.
You got a potential Hall of Fame quarterback starting right now. You got Jameis Winston, who's a he's a turnover machine sometimes, but he's exciting if Russ goes down. You got the future in Dart. You got three really good quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with this team? Like, what the heck are we doing putting Dart in the middle of the game to make handoffs? Like, what was that?
That's a really, really
What the
interesting point you
hell was
bring up.
that?
That
Like, I want to
I'm glad you
see
bring that up.
if we are like I said in the beginning of the season, and I'm so optimistic every year for this team. I get crushed, right? So I said
Yeah.
this year, 3 wins. I said Bears, Saints, and Raiders might be the three teams we could possibly beat with this team, right? So a three
Yeah.
win team. That's what I said. I told everybody that I'm choosing pessimism because I don't want to get my feelings hurt. But if we do better than three, then I'll be happy, right?
Right.
So I would give Russ 7 to 8 games,
Mm.
maybe 10 max, depending on the record. And then maybe we see Dart maybe later in the season, but I would say minimum 8 to 10 games for Russ. And if we're losing, I mean, Dable and them jobs is on the line.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. And not for nothing,
100%.
based on Shane's draft picks that have not panned out, he should be on the line too a little bit. They came together, they should go together. That's kind of where I'm at. If this season doesn't pan out and it's another flop, clean house again. Because we have the talent now. Now it's about getting this talent to put it all together in all three phases of the game, right?
Mm.
We
Yeah.
had the offense finally, but the defense wasn't clicking. Or the special teams is clicking, then the defense ain't. Or the defense and the offense is clicking, but the special teams, we needed all the mesh. And I feel like that comes from the top down, right? That comes from coaching. How do you get the best out of your players? How do you get the best out of the guys that are in your locker room who want to go to war for you?
Right. Right.
And I mean, like, honestly, I think that Russ throwing an interception at the end, if Neighbors was moving right and not left, I'm gonna tell you he catches that ball. I don't care what anybody says. He catches that ball 1-on-1 with that guy, covering him in the secondary. He catches that ball.
He's ridiculous. I mean, the you know,
Insane.
sometimes you get lulled to sleep watching a guy every day. Like we knew he was having a great camp, but you get is, you start to just see him cook people every day, catch everything that comes his way. Like when he's going deep and the ball is in the air and it's headed towards him, he's catching it. I
Getting it.
still, honestly, this is funny. I had my hands on my head when he caught that touchdown at the end of regulation, which you're always sitting there. You're trying not to react too much. No cheering in the press box, all that. When he caught that, I was like this, like, oh my God. I could
Listen,
not believe
my
that play.
neighbors thought I was having a domestic disturbance. I screamed so loud. I was going nuts in my backyard. I think they were going to call the cops on me.
That was you were well within your right. So we got some super chats. Chris says, I just think they need aggressive defense when they need to limit the offense, like in key situations. Yeah, and I think Joe hit on that, and that's a great point, Chris. Really, when you're watching that scene against, where Prescott hits Ferguson, we all know that like when Martindale was here, but even here's where I come down on that.
I
Dable is
miss
the head
Frank.
coach. Dable's the head coach, but like, it's Bowen's call, but you said something right off the bat, Joe, and not to belabor this play, but you said something right off the bat about situational football. And one frustration with this staff when you're talking about how do you unlock this team and get the results, one frustration is they don't really practice situational football the way that you would hope they do. Like they don't rep that situation. So when they're in it, yeah, they'll talk about this and that, but like they're not going over it to the point where the players have a muscle memory
Right.
and they
This is what
have a
we're doing.
defined plan. So it's like it arrives and it's like, okay, we can't let them get to the 50. What's our call? It's going to be this. It's going to be quarters. And when you don't practice situational and you're not detail oriented like that, those things are going to happen. Biondo Roofing, $50 super chat. Biondo always comes in
These
here
guys
with,
are always it. This guy's balling, bro. Listen,
dude.
I'll be at Stilettos on Saturday for my birthday, Biondo. Come through and hook up your boy with a super chat. All right.
Yeah, seriously. And we got Tuto says respects to the king of New York media, a New York Giants media podcast legend, Big Boss Pat, diehard Giants fans in America. Greetings from our entire club currently in Edinburgh, Scotland. Tuto, we appreciate
Dude, we
you.
gotta go see Tuto. We gotta
Yo,
get a group trip and go to. I want to see Tuto run somebody over.
the Giants are down all these middle linebackers like
Right,
Tuto.
like
Can
bring
we
Tuto in. Look at this guy they got in Dallas as a kicker. He was playing soccer.
can we put him in like the transfer portal?
Didn't we have a rugby guy? What was the rugby guy? Ebner.
Ooh, oh
Ebner.
yeah, Nate
We
Ebner.
had
Yeah,
Ebner.
Nate Ebner.
Yeah, he was a rugby guy.
For sure, for sure. Hey, Biondo, Tuto, Chris, everybody, thank you guys so much for those super chats. Really appreciate it. Joe, I wanted to hit on something you mentioned. That was, first of all, an excellent breakdown. And like I
Thank you.
said, you look better doing it with the background. But you
Don't hype
mentioned
me up, Pat. I'll get a job at the Daily News with you, buddy. I'll quit
exactly
cut. I'll quit
is
cutting hair tomorrow.
you take my job. So when you said during that description of what you saw on Saturday, you said, they put Dart in. Why is he going in there? Right.
Yeah, it made no sense.
And Joe, as much as I know Dable wants him in, as much as I know that the organization loves the guy, all those things, you didn't expect it there because Russ was
Cooking,
cooking.
cooking. Russ was cooking.
That's a
Even Russ.
really,
The funny
yeah.
part was they cut to the sideline of when they put Dart in, and Russ was sitting there squeezing his water bottle, looking like, yeah, okay, like let's get this over with. Like he was being supportive, but on his face, you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm making a drive to a touchdown. You're gonna take me out, like 20 yards out, 30 yards out. Like what is that? That's the thing with this
It-
team, man. I think like they do a lot of things don't make any sense.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
Banks, okay. First of all, why is Tracy returning kicks?
Well, as you saw, okay, so we'll get back to Dart in a minute. Tracy returning kicks. So you saw they had Wandale back there in week 1.
Yeah,
So it's funny, like right now they're out there selling him as a superstar wide receiver because he just had a big day. In week 1, he was their slot and their kick returner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what happened, Joe, is he nicked up his ankle. Now Jordan's the one who reported that's how he hurt his ankle on a kickoff return in week 1. Now, obviously, he was fine. He played in week 2 and balled out. But
who
they
was that?
had him
Wandale.
Wandale, yeah, he was
Okay.
limited a couple days, I think,
Yeah, I
last
saw
week
he
with
was
the
like
ankle.
questionable.
Yeah, and so then he went in, but obviously he was fine. But
Game was
combined with
cleared.
they liked him better there. And honestly, Joe, I never saw a game like that for Wandale coming. First of all, they never
Nobody
used him
did.
like they never used him like that. And then also, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, not to take credit away from him and Russ and the Giants, but Eberflus. I mean, as much as we're complaining about Bowen here,
Right.
Eberflus was worse. But the short answer to you is Wandale was their plan there until he got nicked up, and it was like, well, wait a minute. First of all, between me and you and everyone else watching, like,
Right.
I'm not sure Wandale like wanted. It's not like, hey, I would love to play every offensive snap plus this, get
Kick
banged up,
returns.
and
Yeah.
and then for the Giants, really, he's a key part of what they need to do on offense. So So long story
Right, so you
short,
risked him getting injured doing a kick return for what?
right,
Not for
right. And
nothing.
then
Why isn't Jalen Hyatt returning kicks?
I know,
He
man.
hasn't
I
had
know.
one offensive snap. He's uniformed up. The kid's fast. He's definitely fast. Like, why don't you put him back there with how Olszewski, however you say his
Gunner,
name,
yeah, yeah. Well,
Gunner?
no,
Yeah.
so
Why
and
isn't he
then
back there?
well, so then the what ended up happening was you had Tracy who had a tough week one running the ball and also opened his mouth about, we need to run the ball
Yeah,
more.
playing time.
And they wanted to bring Scattaboo in. So that was how they found a way to like incorporate Tracy, move Scattaboo more of an offensive role. Tyrone is a shifty guy. He does scare me with like trying to leap over guys, and he's got the
Right.
fumbling issues. I do worry about that. So I'm with you on that, but that was kind of how that came down. But back to the dart thing really quickly, and we got some other super chats in the queue. What I thought was fascinating there, Joe, was um Dable and Shane and the Giants, it felt like they were playing a game of back and forth of like optics where Dable won't commit to Russ after week one. And then in Saturday, there's a leak from the Giants that no. Russ is our starter. We're in no rush to play Dart. And
Right.
then Dable goes into a game where Russ is still playing well and he still puts the kid in. I viewed that as a message from the coach. Like, no. We're gonna use him. That was my like educated guess on how that happened. Now, I will say in Dable's defense, they were 0 for 4 scoring touchdowns in the red zone in that game. And so they had field goal, turnover downs, field goal in the red zone prior to that.
Yeah.
So, the offense was cooking, but they cooked when they scored over top. They could not score a touchdown in the red zone. And that's the second
Right.
straight week.
That's every
So
year, though. It seems
that
like.
was, yeah. So
You
like,
know, you know
let me,
what's funny you said is Wandale, right? You said they never used him like that before, right?
right.
Who was calling the offense before?
Dable,
Who was calling the offense on last Sunday?
Kafka.
Kafka.
That's
Like
right.
Kafka's doing some things. We could have been cooking like this for the last 3 years. Who knows if he didn't like be in the doghouse and get put on. He was grounded or something. I don't know what the heck's going on over there. But
And
it feels like there's so much dysfunction, and that's going to trickle into the team, and that's why we can't get it all together.
yeah, no, it's well said. And I don't know if you could see this on the broadcast. Probably not, because like after the play, I don't know if they showed it, but Wandale, he, last season he got tired of running those same underneath routes and getting like smashed by
Hmm.
linebackers as he's like running those choice routes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah.
ran it on 1/3 down in Dallas, and he like got tackled short of the sticks and he got blasted. He got up and he was gesturing like this, like over to the sideline. You
Right,
could tell he's saying like, enough of these 3-yard choice routes where I get lit up.
right. Give me
Send
something.
me down the field. And
Yeah,
so,
he gets crushed. I mean, he's a great. I always thought he was a great third down guy. He reminds me a lot of Sterling Shepard, just a little smaller. I feel like, but they always use him on third down, and I'm like, man, this kid's he's got some good hand. At one point, him, Hodgins, and Slayton were like the top guys,
yeah, yeah,
and now Hodgins is gone. Slayton's been non-existent,
yeah. He had the one deep ball.
right? And Neighbors is always double teamed. See, I like Theo Johnson. I like him. I like Bellinger. I feel like they could use Bellinger a little more. I feel like with Johnson and Bellinger, they could do something similar with the Patriots. How they had the two tight end sets.
Hmm.
With that personnel they have, they could do something similar, but I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, I mean, Theo, like, I see the flashes of what they talk about when they say how much they love him internally. Like, he made I guess it was kind of like a fade route where he like he stretched out, caught it, like high pointed it in the back of the end
Hmm.
zone at one of our like training camp, like indoor practices. And it was like full speed, all hands catch. And you go, and he kind of outran like a linebacker over top to get to it. It was
Right,
kind of
right.
like a wheel.
Yeah,
And you
yeah. You're
see
like,
it
wow.
and you see it, you go, oh, right. But then you see
Right.
him run out to the flat and drop like a 3-yard out that hits him right in the palms. And you're like, what, so that's the thing I think with this team where like you've heard me say all the time, like that I think the GM is just as much to blame as the coach. But a game like last week does not help Dable's argument there because, to your
Mm.
point, in a game like last week, the team looks like it has some talent and a chance, and the coaching staff is losing on the margins, right? Details,
Right.
penalties, drops, interception, whatever it is, situational calls. That's all
Did they
coaching
cut
stuff.
Hudson yet?
No, that
Oh my god! I would. I'm sorry. If I was a call, I'd be like, dude, you're gone. You're in the practice squad. See you later. Yeah, that's insane.
That's well said. All right, let's get to that next. We got some super chats. John, they're rolling in too, Joe. You're a man of the people, man. All right, so John says Joe Shane needs to find Motor a new home. The guy never gets to play. Promote Turbo. Scattaboo is like Jacobs and Turbo can be Speedy Bradshaw. Defense
Yeah.
wise, Dex, Carter, Thibodeau, and Burns need to be on the field together all the time. Joe,
Agreed.
let's pivot off this question to you for John. And John, thank you for the super chat. Joe, would you like to see Carter on the line with as like those four on the field all the time? Or would you like to see him more as an off ball next to Bobby?
I kind of want to see him off ball. I feel like he's got so much speed and moves. When he's on the line a little bit, it's like he's. I feel like he was a little small on the line when I saw him there. Maybe it's just me,
I agree.
but
No,
I feel like he's
I
better
agree.
utilized off the edge. I feel like he's better utilized off the edge. Let him do his moves. Give him more room to wiggle. Get around because those guys are a lot bigger. He's speedier, man. I mean, think about that one time where did you see the position of his ankle
I know.
on that one turn he did? Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Why? That's what I don't understand with Bowen. Like, why are you putting him there? You saw where he was good at and what he was good at doing. Why put like if you want to put him in a blitz package or something there, something silly on on a run play, cool, whatever. But put these guys where they're better at. And oh my God, Brian Burns, I'm in love with him right now. He is the man right now.
He was I
Tavon,
told you guys coming out of camp, he was the guy, right? He was
yeah, you did
the
say that. You
student.
did. You did.
What are you seeing from Burns?
Oh, I love it, man. He looks hungry. In Washington, I'm telling you, I splurged. I was sitting right there. Washington, I was so excited from the preseason. I said, you know what? I'm going to splurge. Go right there. I've never sat this close. I'm going to do it. And we went, and I was like, this is deja vu. This is horrible. The only bright. There were two people that showed up in Washington. It was Burns and Winston. Jameis Winston was on the sidelines. He was pepping everyone up. He was in Russ's ear. Hey man, shake it off. Malik was sitting there. Okay, Malik was on the sideline like this. Just he didn't want to talk to nobody. He was like this. Like I don't want to be here. He had a towel over his face. I was like, this guy. People were talking. He's like, don't talk to me. I'm like, this is it. This is turmoil. We're done. And then boom, they come out in Dallas, and I'm like, let me sit at home and watch this game. I was supposed to go on a sailboat. I had a little bit of a fluid in my ear situation, so I
All
couldn't
right.
really be on a boat with my equilibrium. So I was like,
Gotcha.
let me sit home and watch this game. I'm telling you, my neighbors almost called the cops. They thought we were having domestic violence over here. I was screaming at the TV so loud in the backyard. And it's got me excited again. Even though we lost, I'm excited. The defense is John here is absolutely correct. Those guys need to be on the field at all times. There's no
Yeah.
reason it shouldn't be. And even in the preseason when they didn't even start Abdul in a couple of the games. I'm like,
Right.
why is he coming certain play? We draft this guy number 3. You're the number 3 pick, the top defensive player in the draft. The next Micah Parsons. What the heck are you doing on the bench? You're 20 years old. You got energy to burn. You should be up there all the time.
No doubt. And I
It
like what you
makes no
said about
sense.
off. I like what you said about off ball too, because I feel like I know that I know you want to find a position for a guy, that kind of thing. I agree with you that if he's going to be on the line, out on the edge is where he belongs. And he does tend to get caught in the wash against the run when he's lined up on the line anywhere in general at times. But you
Right?
saw when he created the pressure that led to that interception, he's starting at off ball and he's a running head start right at the center. He beats him across his face, gets in on Dak, forces a throw. That is like that when you
Monster.
I'm not saying he's Micah Parsons, but the comp of him to Parsons, there's the Penn State and all that. But it really is comparable to how the Cowboys started unleashing him when he really started as a
Right.
young player taking over. They would just line him up, whatever. He's walking around, right? He's standing up.
Yeah.
And then he just
He
picks a
was like a
gap.
hybrid.
Yeah. That to me is how you got to use Abdul. Like I would
That
stand
guy
him
is
up.
dangerous.
I
Right.
would
Like
stand him
he's
up all the time and
every day, all
let him
day.
walk
I
around,
feel like if I'm gonna put anybody inside, it's gonna be Thibodeau.
Mm. He's
Because
been
Burns
active.
and Carter on
Thibodeau's
the
been
outside.
active.
Right. Burns and Carter on the outside are a dangerous duo. I think they're more dangerous duo than Thibodeau would be with Burns.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like the Giants they have a lot more options now than they used to, but then people like you and me and everybody on here is kind of waiting to see like, well, where are we gonna land? Are we gonna find the most efficient ways? Are we going to experiment enough to get there? Are we gonna wait until week 5 or 6 when the season's already over to actually find it? Right? There's all these
Imagine
things.
imagine if we had Wink
Oh, dude.
with this personnel.
Well, you think about there's
Oh,
two guys on this defense who are underperforming or that fans are tired of watching right now. Banks and Okereke were
oh
studs
my
under
God.
Wink. Like Bobby was,
Okereke is great. I think Bobby's doing good. He's leading the league in tackles right now.
yeah, I mean, he's victimized on that play.
He
Obviously,
gets
that was
after
bad
it.
coverage.
Now Banks needs to be cut. Banks needs to be cut. There was two instances I watched on Sunday where the running back or the receiver was coming here and he had a guy blocking him. He didn't even fight the guy to try to go for the tackle. He was just standing there like, oh, and then the guy there was one play where I forgot what it was. I think it was a running play, and the guy they showed the replay and he's just standing there looking this way, going, like, dude, what are you doing? Chase the
Yeah.
guy with the ball. Dude, the whole point of football is it's like kill the man with the can. You see the dude with the football? That's the guy you wreck. What are you doing?
There was one, Joe, I had the right angle on it. I'm sitting there in the press box. There was a run out to the right for the Cowboys to the boundary, and Banks came down to make the tackle, and he turned his back and just like
Yes.
fell
Yes.
past him.
Like, what are you
And
doing?
here's the thing, and we'll get back to Hudson along these lines too, but it ties in. You have to pull guys for that kind of stuff. You can't let
Like, what's
that
his
go.
deal? Is he
You
like,
can't let that
is he
go.
mad that he's not starting? Is he mad that Russ took his number? Is he
No.
is he in his feelings because he's young? Is he just not knowing the plays? Like, is it a maturity thing? Because he coming out of college, he looked good. I was excited. I was like, oh, this kid's solid. Like, he's gonna help us out. And then
Yeah.
he had flashes his rookie season, and then it was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing, bro?
It's a combination. I would say, how like when we talk about immaturity,
Mm-hmm.
usually what we're talking about is like you think of like Odell with the kicking net and or whatever, or stuff like that, like, oh, that's immature behavior. When I say Banks is immature, I mean how he reacts to adversity mentally and emotionally. Like he fades from it. And
Yeah,
that's mentally and confidence wise. And
right,
it is rare though, like to your point, that happens with guys where it's like, oh, it's harder for them to bounce back, but it doesn't usually happen to the level where it affects the player's effort or their desire
right,
to give their 1/11th, like, and
right.
Banks actually threw a lot of camp in the preseason. He and Kayvon were the two guys, like, right, in the first like 2 weeks of camp. Kayvon and Banks were the two guys where I was like, dude, every day they are just ready. Like, no talk, no like fluff.
Just
They were
balling out.
physically ready, doing their job. Even when the
I'll tell you
play
what,
before.
he looks jacked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kayvon looks way bigger this season than he did last year.
He took
He
care of
put in
business
some
this
real work.
offseason.
He
Yeah,
did.
he did. He
He really
that
did.
that Carter pick, he knows he sees
He
the
was, yeah,
writing.
he was like, they're gonna trade me. I need to get buff. Oh, they picked this kid. I'm on the. Well, did they sign him for his 5th year option? They did, right?
Yeah, yeah, they picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing, like Jalen Hyatt, like, what are you doing with this kid?
I know. I know.
What are you
All
doing
right,
with
we'll
it if
get
you're
to
not
that in a
going to
sec.
use
We
it?
got Hudson, we got Hyatt. All right, let's get to that real quick. I want to honor some super chats. We got Tuto. He says, Pat, we've started our season 4-0, and we're blessed to have great coaches who are relentless, aggressive, and hungry to win every test any day against any club. Tuto, if Jameis isn't
Oh,
available for a motivational speech like in one of these games, we got to bring you to MetLife. Whitney says, let's give a happy early birthday to Joe. All
my
right.
homegirl Whitney. Appreciate that, Whitney.
Whitney. And she says, and let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo cover
She's
12 and a half. I need him to cover
Let's go,
12 and
James
a half
Cook.
tonight.
I need Cook to cook.
Yeah. Whitney, thank you so much. Joe, you're celebrating this weekend, right? At the lots?
Yes, I am going to be in J18. If you guys have not been to the J18 tailgate, let me tell you about these guys. They're from Albany. I met them one year, COVID year. License plate guy had a draft party at like a minor league baseball stadium
Yeah.
down in like Middletown area, New York, somewhere down there. And I went. Me and a couple buddies went. We saw it online. We're like, "There's no football. It's COVID." Like, he was like, "It's outside. Like, no 6 foot rule. Wear a mask if you want. Come on down. There's gonna be, you know." And he had so many. I hung out with like David Wilson and Mario Manningham was there, and a bunch of guys. Man, it was an awesome experience. And I met these guys, and they're like, "Dude, we don't even go into the game. We just go and tailgate." And I'm like, "What?" I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. They're like, "No, man, we got a van, and we just drive 2.5 hours, and we just party and we watch the game outside the stadium." And I'm like, that's weird, but I'm in. You know what I mean? And they just showed so much love, so I always go over there, man. Those guys are awesome. J18 tailgate. It's called the Son of G Men and the J18 G Men van. You guys have to have seen it. They're pretty big. They got the flags going and all that. They
That's
Brandon
awesome.
London comes over there all the time. They've had Eli Manning stop by. Like a lot of the players actually go over there and hang out. Plaxico Burress has been by there. So you never know who may stop by. They're just a fun group of guys. They have a DJ. They got 2 grills going. Pat, you got to stop by and have a cigar, man. You got to take a little break.
I know, I know. Well, see, the arrivals, I got to be in there really, really early for that. But I have to. Whether I'll try this weekend. I'll try, but I can't make any
We'll save
promises
you a
because I gotta,
sausage.
yeah, do that. But like
We'll save
if
you
I
a
miss
sausage.
if I miss Taylor's, video and Taylor Swift, I mean that's some social media
Oh,
arrival
dude,
gold. I can't be
dude.
missing that. Can't be missing
Who
that.
videos you're walking?
It's been Charlotte Carroll of the Athletic. She's been nice enough to do that.
Okay. I'm
I
like,
actually
who?
took.
I was like, Pat's always videotaping everybody else. Who gets his?
That's a good question. I actually told her the other day. I was like, I got to start crediting you. I keep forgetting to credit you for the video. So no, that's funny. We also have a super chat from Tuto. He says, when pain, blood, and struggles are all you know, fighting on battleground becomes natural and quitting becomes impossible. You can't ever beat a man who doesn't know how to quit. Tuto,
I will
honestly, man.
run through a wall for Tudo right now. Tudo, I'm gonna go smack my kids. Tudo,
Exactly. All
Tudo's
right.
got me
So
amped.
Tudo, he's got me amped too. All right. So let's get through some of our fan questions. We got Hudson and Hyatt to talk about as well. John actually has a question, non-Giants related. He says, Pat, do you have any thoughts on the Tom Brady and the Raiders booth situation? Is the NFL going to do nothing as usual about it? Joe, I'll ask you this too. My take on it is, I mean, clear conflict of interest. Also for the league hates bad optics. So even though we all know that he's an owner and also doing the broadcasting and all these meetings, it's another thing to actually see him actively trying to help another team win the game on TV on game day. I think, the conflict of interest. I was talking to my mentor, Gary Myers, who he's actually doing a book tour right now, Brady versus Belichick. He was on Good Morning America the other day. And he was pointing out to me how can you have Tom Brady that involved in that team and then a couple weeks from now going into a game against a team that the Raiders are playing the following week, let's say, and he's in the building, he's in the meetings, he's getting information from the coaches, and now what? He's going up into the booth the following week and helping the Raiders beat that team. You have to draw a line somewhere. That does look like the NFL is doing nothing about it, but I think it's a clear conflict that does need to be addressed. Joe, what do you think of that?
I got 2 words, Pat.
What's that?
White privilege. That's what they are. It's Tom Brady, man. Like deflating balls, cheating, Spygate. Like they're not gonna do nothing to him. He's the $1 million man. They want him in football. They want him in the booth. They want him around. I mean, we all know that there's things that go on in the NFL that unspoken things that people get away with all the time, right? They're gonna
Right.
cry about this, but I don't think anything is gonna get done to him. I think if anything, they may like what you said. He's in the week for one game who they're gonna face next week. They may alternate that, put him on different games, maybe not have him on the games that the Raiders are scheduled to play guys. But like I don't see any fines coming. I don't see him getting in trouble. I highly doubt they're gonna make him sell his stake in the team or anything like
Yeah.
that.
No,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't think he's the golden boy. He's Tom freaking Brady.
They'll probably just tell him to not be videoed on camera in the booth anymore. So
Right.
they'll be like, whatever you're
Yeah.
doing, just don't do it
You're
where anyone can
just
see
doing
it. That's all.
sound bites, bud. He's
It's
probably gonna do it in his Uggs with some avocado toast. They don't got to show him. You know what he is to us though? A
What's
two-time
that?
loser.
Yeah.
That's what he is. A two-time loser.
And you guys, you Joe, Giants fans, and even Eli himself to Brady's face, never miss an opportunity to remind him of that. It's great. John also says, as far as the
Dude,
Giants go, what'd you say?
shout out to my buddy Pat Ranger. My buddy Pat Ranger has the best jersey of all time. It's an
Okay.
Eli Manning jersey, and on the back it says Brady's dad.
Wow. Wow. I love thinking about like jerseys like that. I love thinking about the day that he went in and the guy and the person was like, "Yeah, what do you want us to put on it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Brady's dead. Could you put that on the back of this?" You know what I mean? Just like looking at the person's face. And usually they've probably heard so much more ridiculous stuff. They're like, "All right, yeah, sure, no problem."
Right.
That'll be 89.99.
That's
um,
hysterical.
all right. So John also says, as far as the Giants go, would they consider trading Russ to the Bengals, considering Burrow's injury situation? Definitely not on their minds after Russ's performance this past week, despite the loss. If the season spirals, I mean, I think they've gone so all into the Russell Wilson is our leader experience, and then right now he's the league leader in passing yards, and they just scored 37 points. So despite the fact the team isn't winning, and you guys know that. I mean, Joe and we're two people who picked this team to win 3 games, but I think if you're looking down the road at late October, and the Giants are 1-8, and they've already gone to Jackson Dart, then maybe John, you're like ahead of the curve in what you're saying there. But we're not close to that. And I would also add, Jacob says, are the Winston trade rumors active? No, it's been quiet. As Joe pointed out, which is great insight, he's very active on the sidelines. Like when Hudson was pulled out of this game, it was like Jameis was the coach, like he's talking to him. He's running the
Yeah, he
sideline. I
was in
mean,
his
is that the
ear.
kind of stuff you
Yeah.
saw?
Yeah, Jameis, man, he's one of those glue guys in the locker room. I feel like I think that's why they're like, the assistant GM was like, yeah, we're not trading him. There's no way because he's very calming. And I saw him talking to all the players like, hey man, great job. He was amping them up when guys didn't have a great run or a great possession. He was right there, man. He was just in their face like, hey, don't give up on yourself. All right, it's one play, shake it off, get back out there. Let's get another one. Like we got a lot of game left. He's good, man. I think he's really good. And I saw that too. Like he grabbed Hudson. Like when Hudson was getting riled up,
Yeah.
he got in there and was like, no, 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 come here. Like, let me talk to you. Chill out. So I think that I see him staying with the team. I think that if, like you said, if it goes south and we end up throwing Dart in, they'll keep Jameis as his wisdom. and they would probably trade Russ. I
Hmm.
don't see them getting rid of Winston for the next 2 years. I think Winston's under contract for 2 years. He'll be here for 2 years.
Right, right.
Unless Russ
Because
cooks. If Russ cooks, then we're keeping Russ.
right, because the natural thing is Jameis is cheap next year. You hope Dark grows into that. You have him there as a backup, but of course, in that position, you're hoping he actually is never playing. Dan says Malik Neighbors can do things I've never seen any Giants receiver do. You heard me right, but the Dallas secondary helping him out last Sunday was obviously scripted. I know you're joking, Dan, but yeah, I would say was obviously there that especially the last touchdown. That last touchdown, there is no world where a defense should give up that play. Like that, as great of a play as it
No.
was by Malik and Russ, that is totally absurd. But Malik deserves credit. You're right. He's nasty. Barb, hey, Barb, what's going on? Great to have you here as always. Joe says Pat Dallas put up 40 on the Giants. The Chiefs should come close. They held the Eagles to 100 yards passing and 114 yards rushing. So they have a top defense. Dallas defense is terrible. We will get to predictions later, but Joe, I tend to agree with you that, like Joe was pointing out, oh, is this going to be the Washington Giants or is it going to be the Dallas Giants? I just think this is a clean slate. Like this is a totally different opponent that you need a totally different game plan for. Let's keep going through here. So I don't want to ignore your guys' comments, and we'll talk a little Hudson and Hyatt. Danny says, if Dable gets fired, can you envision Mara hiring Spags? And no, I do not. And do you think he would bring Kafka as OC? No, I do not. But I understand why you say that. But no, honestly, I think I think he should just ride it out as a DC. I think if he does, he'll probably win another Super Bowl or two. And
Yeah, he's a
that,
DC for life.
yeah, like that's okay. I know guys like him, they want to be head coach again, but I think um, I think that's where he belongs. GCN says, I was listening to Chiefs radio. It sounds like they should be able to stop Wilson. Again, we'll get to that. Danny says, I think Dable gets near the end of the season and Kafka gets canned near the end of the season and Kafka gets a trial. That would be the right way to do right by Kafka. Um, let's stop here and address the big picture here, Joe. As a fan, let's hypothetically say we'll go over what a win means too, but let's say they lose to Kansas City here and you're staring down the barrel of the Chargers coming in and possibly 0-4. As a fan at that point, what do you want to happen if that comes to that? Would you say, listen, at this point, there's no point in like firing the head coach and making it worse. Let's just ride it out, give Kafka a late season run and go. Or would you say, let's fire Dable right now? Let's change it. Like, let's try to salvage it. Let's give it to Kafka. At that point, would you rather fire Bowen because you feel like the defense is the one that's not unlocking it enough? How would you react as a fan if you walked out of MetLife Stadium 0-3 on Sunday?
If 0-3, I'm gonna be pretty mad, especially coming off of last season.
Hmm.
And he was on the hot seat last season, and I said that last season. If we start this season 0-4, he's got to go.
Hmm.
He's got to go because his leadership. How many more chances do you need? Right? You got the quarterback you want, and say if we're getting crushed in this game, do you start putting Dart in, or if you get crushed in this game in week 3, do you start Dart week 4 to try to save your job?
Right.
Like what do we do? 0-6, 1-6. How many games before we're like, this just isn't working no more? Are we gonna get a medium Pepsi for our pain again? Like, what's gonna happen here?
Yeah, no, that is one question I've admitted on here that's one question that I don't have a firm handle on yet is like just how they're going to navigate it if it goes that way. Again, like listen, we're hoping this season doesn't die before we get to freaking October, but if it comes to that, I am interested to see really like what's the breaking point because 3-14 wasn't it for John Mara, so like what is it?
Right.
Um, but that is an interesting
I think
conversation. Go
I
ahead.
think Kafka usually gets the head coach job if he's fired. But I will be curious to see like who's up next for DC if Bowen goes. Would they bring somebody else in? or would they bring somebody up? Like who's next?
Yeah, that's the tricky part of that, Joe. I
That's
don't
the hard.
know.
So I think Bowen would survive the season. I think he would survive the season.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's a fair point. It's like, who are you going to? I don't know if it would be. It could, a dark horse would be like Charlie Bullen, the edge rusher coach and outside linebackers guy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you though, because it wouldn't just be Bowen, right? It would be some of his guys too.
Right.
I think I think that's a fair point by you. I think also my hunch, my educated guess again is, I do think internally, maybe this is giving them too much credit, but like I feel like they have to know. Let's say they fall to 0-4 and Dable's going in like, hey, the answer is to fire Shane Bowen. Like, there's got to be somebody up at the top who's like, how
Somebody's getting
many
fed. Right.
how many more times are we going to blame somebody who's not the person in charge of all the real mistakes we're making? So I don't know if Dable has capital remaining to make that kind of change and not get canned himself. So, I'm
Right.
curious to see that. All right, let's see. John says 4 only rushers in soft zone is played by losers. Dable might like that in Buffalo, but how many championships has Buffalo won? Fair. Hirsch, what's going on?
Nice.
John wants to know, did anyone ask Bowen why Carter, Burns, Thibodeau, and Dexter aren't on the field at the same time all the time? No one asked that specific question today, John. I can tell you, though, the answer is they cannot stop
Write
the
it down,
run.
Pat.
That's right. But they're not stopping the run well enough, even when they're heavier with like 2 and 3D tackles and like 5-man fronts with 3D tackles. Like, so that is a situational front, because it is not imposing enough against a good O line to consistently stop the run. Now, you can create games with those players, but doing it all game, and we've talked about Dex has had his snaps limited, coming off that elbow and trying to get back in shape, that kind of thing. But I did ask him about playing Carter off ball, what he thought of that. He said he liked it. He called it a limited package, but I said in week 2 I thought we would see more of it. He played more snaps, but it was a lower percentage of the total snaps at that position. I still continue to think, though, that they're gonna continue to expose him more to that position and to stand up rushers and to stepping around, and playing him as the hybrid that you said. So I continue to think that we're going to see more of them on the field, but it just might look different than the way you're describing it. Joe says, Pat, Giants defense is overrated. Chargers have a defense people wish the Giants would have. The Chargers dominated the Raiders. They will do the same to the Giants. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're not to get ahead of the Chiefs, but those West Coast teams coming out east for those games, like, those games are always like way closer than you ever think they're going to be. I mean, they don't look like an easily beatable team, but those are weird
The
games.
jet lag.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, right. Like 10 a.m. star for them or whatever. Like, it's just hard to count
Right.
them out. H
Way to
Town,
be
health and wealth.
positive, Joe.
Yeah. H Town says health and wealth to all. GCN wants to know where Jared is from Hooks. That's a good question. I don't know. Is he in the chat? Listen, we all got families, lives, this and that. So maybe he couldn't make it tonight, but we will be doing the Hooks, Rubs, and Spices giveaway tonight. So stay tuned. We will get to the Giants trivia. Let's see. I want to try to get through into the queue here. H Town said, Biondo says, I'm hoping Bowen lets the dogs loose because I'm getting sick and tired of his soft ass. Well said.
Yes, Biondo. Yes.
Yes. H Town says Giants have made mental mistakes and errors, bad technique, poor communication. Right? Yeah. No, there's a lot of things that look like coaching. John thinks they'll start Dart against the Saints if they start 0-4. H Town says it isn't just the line for Daniel Jones. He has been throwing under pressure, hitting the mouth, moving in the pocket, keeping his eyes, anticipating throws, reading the field. He has coaching now. Ooh, boy. Let's
Fair
see.
point.
Randy, welcome. Thanks for being here. GCN thinks Russ will look a lot different against the Chiefs. Randy says Dark coming into that game had no upside game. Russ is throwing 400 yards or taking him out, right? H-Town thinks Bo at right guard, shuffle the line, take JMS out, might be the best option. JMS is a weak link. All right, yeah, so let's stop here and let's talk about some of the elements you brought up. Hudson or Hyatt, who do you want to start with, Joe?
I mean, let's go with Hudson. Like that was insane. He had to
Right?
break a record for most penalties on a drive in history, and you keep him out there. You sub him, you take him out, then you put him back in. Why? And then you take him out, and this guy's got it. He's got the audacity to have an attitude and be mad you took him out.
Right.
Dude, you just broke the worst record in NFL history to have. And Bo looked good in there. Bo looked good when he got in there.
Yeah, he held his own. He did give up the pressure on the interception at the end, but for a rookie 5th round
And the
pick,
third stringer. He's the rookie
yeah.
third stringer.
No, promising. I mean, that's what you saw in camp is like, listen, it's not going to be perfect. And I promise you, if Bo was like forced into a full game against George Karlaftis and Steve Spagnuolo, like it would not look the same. So like he
No.
does look good. He does look good, but it's like the O-line coach, Carmen Brasillo, told us flat out, we're all like excited about him, seeing him at camp. And he's like, he's developing. He's doing pretty well, but like he's got a long way to go. We were like, thanks. You know what I mean? Like that's because he doesn't want to put him into a spot that he's not ready for. So yeah, as far as that O-line thing though, I think Bo going to guard, they like him at tackle. And as Joe pointed out, he looked comfortable at left tackle. But so let's talk about Hudson. Discipline wise, it is disappointing to hear Brian Daboll, pretend like, oh, he goes, oh yeah, that guy slipped. He didn't mean to slap him in the head. And even Hudson said that. And then talking about he's a pro, he'll figure it out. Now, I will say when Hudson spoke for himself at his locker, he was very thoughtful. He was very contrite. He was apologetic. But Joe, it just doesn't feel like enough accountability for me. I saw Giants fans calling for him to just be cut the next day. And I understand. I mean, you already paid this guy millions of dollars, but like I see what this fans see there, which is like, listen, if this is a new day, we need to draw a line. This cannot be tolerated, right?
Yes. There needs to be a precedent set. We have a ton of talent. And like, where's the culture? I feel like when Dable came in, it was like, Judge had this real like stern culture, they said, right?
Right.
And I felt like Judge was like, hey, listen, we're gonna come in, we're gonna be relaxed, but we're gonna be like ready. I don't see the readiness. I see a lot of relaxed stuff. I see, hey man, whatever. It's like, I get this is your first time as a head coach. You're a former coach of the year. And you have had 2 losing seasons, right? Since then.
Yep.
We can't hang our hat on that forever. Like, you got to get it together, man. You have to set the tone as the head coach. If Deonte Banks doesn't want to chase a guy with the football, he does not belong on a football team.
No doubt.
If James Hudson is going to get 9 penalties in 11 plays, he does not deserve to be the starting lineman. That's insane.
Well,
if that happened at like Don Bosco Prep, that kid would be in the locker room.
100%. That's very well said, Joe. It's like it almost makes you crazy thinking like it has to be pointed out, right? Like to your point, it's like, wait a minute, if this is a high school game, they would tell the kid to like leave his helmet on the ground and leave his pads in the parking lot. The kid would have got
3 penalties and they'd have been like, see you later. You're at the end of the bench.
Yep.
Get walked for the rest of the team.
The way they're talking is like it sounds optimistic that Thomas is going to come back, and then you'd have to think that Bo would be the backup and that Hudson has to be out of the rotation. He better be. It seems that that's the way it's trending. Thomas, like he's been limited both of the last 2 days, though Dable said he's been taking a lot of snaps. I'll believe it when I see it, Joe. Like I'm not going to sit here and tell like a Giants fan that Andrew Thomas is likely to play until he's going to play, because even with Dable speaking optimistically and even with Andrew being out there, They didn't have a practice. They're not having a padded practice this week. They and the Cowboys are both keeping it light after that long game. And, Dable did say he's played a lot of football, so it's not like he absolutely has to have a full padded practice to play in a game. But that doesn't make sense to me because the whole point is not like whether he can handle the real football, it's whether his foot can. Like that's so I don't
Right.
know.
Like we're
I yeah,
gonna throw
go
him
ahead.
in there against Chris Jones and Karlaftis. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. He has a chance, it sounds like, but as we sit here Thursday on the 18th, I won't look any Giants fan in the eye and say Andrew's coming back for sure. I'll wait and see it myself. Um, all right. And also you brought up, so yeah, Hudson. Oh no, Tua with an interception.
No.
Buffalo, Buffalo
Yeah, he
Bill. Am
did. He
I?
threw one.
I'm ahead of you. Yeah, Buffalo Bills up
No, no.
seven
I
with a.
just looked up. I looked up at the same time.
Oh, got you. Buffalo Bills up 7 with 3 minutes to go. Thursday night football. We all know because I have them to minus 12 and a half that they're going to kick a field goal and win by 10. That's what's going to happen. But Joey B, you mentioned Jalen Hyatt. It really jumped out to me that, well, listen, they had an explosive downfield passing attack without him. So it's not like, oh, you couldn't have explosive. Usually it's, we can't create explosives. Why is this guy sitting on the bench? You don't have that in this one. But doesn't this feel like the exact game that you get Jalen Hyatt going? Like where
You get him out there and throw it to him.
like the team is letting you basically run 40 yards downfield and just airmail it out there. Like that's what this guy does, you know? And I will
Right.
say
Like
this
that's what
too.
you kept him for.
It jumps out to me. It jumped out to me. Now I knew this on Sunday, obviously watching the game, but like it's another thing when you look at the game book and you see it has the starters listed up top in the for offense defense. Underneath it, then it says here's all the other players that got in the game, and then it has a category of did not play, so that means they dressed but didn't play, and then it has the inactives, and they're all separated in their own categories, and usually there's several names in all of them, or maybe there's 3 in the did not play, whatever.
Right.
But there was only one name in the did not play of all the guys active because Jameis doesn't count. He's the
Jalen
emergency
Hyatt.
third quarterback. Jalen Hyatt's name is just sitting there, lonely. And you think of all the guys on this team that, or the players get like Banks, like Hudson, these guys where you're saying, like, hey, listen, they're not helping the team, no place for them here, get them off the field. It just stands out as like an unsalvageable thing that's not going to get better for him in this situation when you see that. It's like, wow, a game that we're
Right.
going downfield, we're explosive, this team's letting us do this. We're basically not even running routes. We're just we're running 9 routes straight up the field and he still doesn't get in. The only bummer is like I know fans are always like, what can we get for a guy like that? But the reality is you're not getting value for a player that's not on the field and that you're showing you have no confidence in, right? So
Right. You can't showcase his talents at all. Who's going to want it?
yeah, yeah.
Would we
So
save money? Would we save money if we just cut him?
uh let's go to the exact numbers. I'll tell you exactly what it would look like. One other thing I would add is that they are the playbook and versatility on routes has been a thing they've all, has always been talked about with Hyatt, at least as
Right.
how they feel about him. And Bo Collins really like mastered the playbook early, and the coaches and the quarterbacks all really trust his ability to do whatever is asked, line up wherever. He understands the offense. He doesn't have hiccups in that regard. So that's the reason that Hyatt isn't just like a little bit of a part of it, but not enough, but is completely marginalized because they prefer even a Bo Collins to what Hyatt has been showing
Can
them.
do.
It was
Right.
interesting. Hyatt walked into the locker room today with a football, like carrying it high and tight off the field. He's been on the field early. He's been off the field late. But he's just trying to find a way onto it. All right. So if they cut him post June 1, yeah, it's let's see. It says actually they would well, it says they would save 1.2 million and eat 272K, but then they would also eat 1.5 million, or they would also save 1.5 million next year, eat 272K next year as well. So according to overthecap.com says that the Giants could save some money in that regard. So, but
Let the man get
Joe,
an opportunity somewhere else.
as well as I do, or, like if you could get even if you're not going to get anything from a guy, if you could just even get a conditional seventh, get the contract off the books
Yeah,
type stuff.
right.
But you never want to do that because this is the optics part, general manager, drafts. You were talking about it earlier. Let's bring that up next. Like you talk about Giants drafts and Joe Shane's not the only one, but general managers, teams, they don't want to bail on their evaluations too soon, and they certainly want to validate their evaluations and have themselves proven right, as we would all, just like when I'm a fantasy draft manager and I'm drafting my fantasy team, I want my deep sleeper to be somebody people are talking about, like, damn, Pat knew about that in the 8th round, right? So let's talk about the Giants drafts, though. You have
Sometimes you got to know when to cut a man loose.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the Giants drafts real quick. 2022 is the Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Wan'Dale Robinson draft. 2023 is the Banks Schmitz Hyatt draft. 2024 is the Neighbors Newbin Phillips. And 2025 is Carter, Dart, Alexander, Scattaboo, etc. Joey B, can you rank those 4 drafts for me from your favorite or what you think the best draft is to your least favorite or the most disappointing? Again, 2022 is Thibodeau, 23 is Banks, 24 Neighbors, 25 Carter.
This new draft will probably have to be number one for me because there's so much hype
Mm,
around these guys, and they were pretty high picks. I would say the most disappointing one was Banks and Schmitz
mm.
because Banks is now a third stringer, and Schmitz has struggled. Even though you know what, he put in some work, he looks good. He came in, he looked ready in the offseason. He looked like a whole different guy, but it's not
They were
working.
they were better against Dallas too. I mean, they had a rough day against Washington, but they were good against Dallas.
Right, they were better, but it was like it's like, what's that? 3 years in now with Hyatt. Hyatt doesn't even see the field. It's his third year. You got the guy under contract. He's not even seeing the field. He's a healthy scratch, suited up. Nothing. Not a trips. Not a 5 wide. Not a punt return. Not a kickoff return. Nothing.
Right.
You can't
Right.
find nowhere for this kid. What are you holding on to? That's pride. That's pride. And Giants fans, as prideful as we are, screw your pride, man. It's time to cut the fat off the bone.
I definitely think that's a player that if you could get something meaningful for him, they would do it. I just don't think
Something.
that, like, yeah, I just don't think they would get anything. But I agree with you as far as like looking at the drafts and saying like where is the team getting significant contributors? That draft of Banks, Schmitz, Hyatt, Gray, Hawkins, Riley, and Owens is a tough look. All right, so that's
The
your least
work.
favorite. So that's
Yeah.
your least favorite. And then you said your favorite is the Carter, Dart, Alexander, Scattaboo, Bo, Fedoni, and Black, who is actually on the Jets now.
Right.
So what's your second favorite? Do you prefer the Neighbors, Newbin, Phillips, Theo, Tracy, Muasau? Or do you like Thibodeau, Neal, Robinson, Zudu, Flott, Bellinger, Belton, McFadden, those guys?
You got to go with the neighbors one because he's putting more on the field.
Hmm.
The neighbors one, those guys are putting a little more on the field. A couple of the other guys in the other one, they're just not really. You got Tibbs. He's semi productive. He had what two good years out of the four.
Right.
Two really good years, two okay years. But I mean, neighbors is a stud. I actually like Newbin. Phillips is what he starts.
Yeah.
He's one of our stars. He looked great against Dallas. And let me tell you something. I love the smack talk.
Me
I
too.
love the attitude from Phillips. Like that's New York football. Like we've been missing that. We have no edge. We can't talk smack when we're getting smacked.
I agree with you. The only thing he did was CD did like bait him into that, personal
Yeah,
foul by bringing it up and all that. But I agree with you on the attitude thing, on the approach, that they need more of that for sure. You know what's fascinating, Joe? As you say, essentially you're ranking the drafts, the Carter draft, the Neighbors draft, the Thibodeau draft, and then the Banks draft. The main difference there too is like while we're all kind of still evaluating, some of the mid rounders, and they go up and down and fluctuate. The key is like people think when you get a first round pick that you're getting a player, but you look at if you're getting Malik Neighbors and you're getting Abdul Carter, who looks special, and plus hopefully your franchise quarterback, the 2024 and 2025 drafts at the very least look like drafts where Joe Shane just got a stellar player with a stellar pick, you know? And
right.
at a base level, what you didn't do in 23 and 24 with Thibodeau, Neal, and Banks in the first round, and I would even go to Schmitz and Wandale in the second rounds of those drafts, with your premium picks, you didn't get premium players. And,
No,
so like,
Evan Neal is like Eric Flowers 2.0, and I hate to say that.
I
I
mean,
really hate to say that.
he's not even at this moment, he's not even at Flowers' level. Like,
Right, Flowers got a revitalization when he left us. I don't know if
yeah,
they'll even give Neal a revitalization.
that's right. Right. Exactly. He's certainly not guaranteed that. At this point, it would be, is somebody else going to give him that chance? But yeah. No, Joe, great breakdown. All right, let's see. What else do we got? You want to keep hanging? You got it. Do you have
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for the long. But I
uh,
think this is a perfect time for us to say this. This fan voice has been brought to you by Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. I got mine. You got to get yours. Okay? Use the code Talking Ball to get your Hooks, Rubs, and Spices today. All right? One pinch, and you're hooked on Hooks, Rubs, and Spices.
Look at this. What a salesman. I appreciate that, Joey B. I know Jared does too. Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, hooksrub.com. You heard the man.
You gotta scrap you gotta crop that. Send it to Jared for me.
No doubt. Talking Ball is the code, 15% off. Got great swag as well. We might as well roll that right into Joey B, the
To
Giants
the
trivia
trivia.
question, the Giants NFL trivia question of the day. Joey B, you're going to have to sit this one out. But guys, you know how it works. And honestly, if you want, you could text me your answer while we're waiting on people's guesses to see if you knew it first. No Googling,
Okay.
but
I
it's
can't
it's a
Google. I'm on the phone.
all right. It's a very straightforward, simple question. So, we all know Malik Neighbors, special player. So the Giants represent, let's say, in the category of most receptions through first 17 games in a player's NFL career. Give me the top 3 receivers, most receptions through first 17 NFL games. That's in the entire NFL. So in NFL history, the most receptions through first 17 NFL games. Give me the top 3 in NFL history. The top 3. And like I said, the Giants are represented. First person to put the right answer in the chat will win the Hooks, Rubs, and Spices Giants trivia question. What did I tell you? The Bills are about to kick a freaking field goal to go up
You
10,
missed.
and they're going to win and not cover. I told you. Ugh,
Damn, you did say it too.
brutal. Brutal.
I feel like that's a trick trivia question.
Brutal. Why is that
There's
a
a
trick?
trick in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Don't give it
I
away.
feel like I feel like there's a trick in there. Anybody get the
Eight
answer yet?
A2 says OBJ, Michael Irvin, and Jerry Rice. Here's what I'll say, A2. You have one of the names correct, but we need all 3 correct in the same answer from you guys. So again, it's most receptions through first 17 NFL games in NFL history. 3 players, most receptions through first 17 NFL games. Which 3 players are they? All right. As you guys are guessing, I'll get back to what the guesses roll in as. Want to get through the rest of the queue up here. Make sure everybody is represented. Okay. We have Joe says, I agree with Joe. Daboll and Shane gone, but they are not that talented. A lot of overpaid players who from the Giants could start on the Eagles offense. Yeah, no, Joe, I agree with you that it's not like the roster is fine and it's just the coaches, but I think Joey's point too is in a game like Sundays against Dallas, you're seeing some of your out talent some of Dallas's players, and you're saying, all right, wait, like it's not like we have nothing going on here. Why can't we unlock this completely? But Joe, I see your point too, and I do think going over the draft history as we just did kind of shines a spotlight on your point, which is like, hey, it's getting a little bit better, but it's not there yet. John says the roster is basically Shane's now. Only a few are left from Gettleman. I don't see Mara firing Shane, not supporting Shane at all, but just don't see it. Dable ran out of scapegoats. It's on him now. Yeah, that could be where it is. GCN says, Pat, Booger McFarland said Dex does not seem to be the same player anymore, and he is not a top D lineman this year. This is what I was telling you guys all summer, all camp. I'm like, this guy's not practicing. He doesn't look like he's in playing shape. He's coming off the elbow. And even with the elbow, I was surprised at just how little he was able to handle when he got on the field and as they ramped him up. It was just an odd timeline of all of it. And so none of the early season ineffectiveness from Dex shocks me. It's disappointing, and it's not something that the Giants will survive if it doesn't improve. I do think, like some of us in the beat were talking about this the other day. And Joey, you know this, like sometimes like when guys need to play themselves into shape, it's like the player they are in week 1 versus who they become in like week 6 is dramatically different. Like we could see Dex against the Saints or against the Eagles one game or against the Broncos just suddenly dominate and look like the old Dex. Obviously, though, that doesn't help the Giants if it takes him that long to get there, right? Like, this could be.
I noticed last game he looked winded. Like he definitely looked winded. You could see him getting up slow from the piles, and you could just see him like hands on his hips, just like damn. And I was thinking at myself, like he just doesn't look right.
Yep. No, it's there. Booger McFarland. Guess he probably didn't credit Talking Ball with pointing that out in like late July, but it's all right, Booger. It's no problem.
Everybody tweet Booger right now.
Yeah. Let's see. John says, I remember going to Giants camp in Albany for years. Coach Coughlin was a fanatic about coaching situations, game situations. Yes, exactly. And that is, that's a shortcoming of this regime. No doubt about it. Pat, the scat man, took Tracy's job. He is the starting running back. That's correct. Let's see. Nomad says Hyatt is too frail. William says, as good as Russ was, he's still 1 for 7 in the red zone. They put Dart in to loosen it up in the red zone, and it was our only success. Yeah, no, that is correct. That is correct. Like those are the stats. Those are the facts. It's just, it just is so interesting that even though it did have the intended effect in the red zone and Dart helped them there, it's like Joey B and I were saying earlier, putting him in at that juncture when Russ was playing the way he did, it was like literally this is what happened. Like we're all like taking notes on what happened in the last play and looking at this and tweeting something. And then I looked up on the field and I'm sitting there and I go to everybody. I go, oh, Dart's in. Right. And some of the people they go, what? Some of the people I'm sitting next to, they're like,
it was like bringing tofu out at a steak dinner. What are you doing? You don't do that.
Love it. John says, Daboll wants Jackson to get used to the speed of the game. That's my educational guess. Yeah. It's just the timing of it was weird. It's not like it didn't surprise me that they put him in, but you thought Dart in the second half of that game was going to be when they were struggling offensively, not when they were cooking offensively. Right. It was so weird. Joe says, Pat, Chris Sims thinks Daniel Jones is a good quarterback and people inside the NFL think he is good. Listen, Daniel Daniel is who he is. It's just he's being first of all, they've had a favorable schedule. The Broncos, though, that beating the Broncos is beating the Broncos, but they started out Titans, nice team to start out against. Or not the Titans. Who did they beat right off the bat? Um, but yeah, they're
Wasn't it
the
the
Colts.
Dolphins?
Yeah, the Dolphins, right? 33-8. Thank
Dolphins.
you, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they play the Dolphins to start, that kind of thing. But no, I mean Shane Steichen is he's just a good offensive coach, and Daniel could still make the mistakes that he made in New York if put in the right or the wrong position or the wrong system. But they got a better running game. They're better O-line. Steichen's giving him early and quick answers. Like if you force him under pressure into crazy situations, he will throw the ball to the other team or make a mistake, but they're not putting him in those situations. So, I think people in the NFL in general think that he's a serviceable quarterback. No one in the league really believed that he was worth the money the Giants gave him. And certainly he needs to do what he's doing in Indianapolis over a full sample size to prove that he is worth that kind of salary again. But guys, Joey, it can't look worse for Dable and for the Giants if Daniel keeps playing like this and
He looks
they
like
keep
Steve
losing.
Young right now. It's insane. If that doesn't get you fired, I don't know what will.
Honestly,
Could
I
you
mean it's
imagine if the
ridiculous.
Colts make the playoffs with Daniel Jones?
Oh, I mean, again, how can these guys keep their jobs if they have a bad season and that happens off of uh Saquon and the Eagles last year? Like it's insane.
James Hudson just broke the record for the most penalties on a drive. And Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, is breaking records for the first quarterback in history to score on each of his drives, possessions down the field. That's insane. No,
Oh,
nobody in 2023 would have thought we would ever say Daniel Jones broke a record for scoring.
it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, they haven't punted yet. So, guys, I'm going to help you to the finish line on the trivia. So it's not all Giants players. This is NFL history. So there are two Giants in the answer, and
I know this answer. This is horrible.
JB notes the answer includes Malik Neighbors with 123 catches in his first 17 games, and Odell Beckham Jr. with 122. Who is the third player? Joey B, don't give it away. Don't give it away. Who
I
is the
got to say,
third?
I'm telling you, I got this answer.
Who is the? If
It's a
no one
tough.
gets this
You
in
know
the
what? You got to know. You got to. Don't ask
go
me
ahead.
how I know this, but I know this answer,
You know it because you're
and
a
I feel like it's
diehard and
a. I feel, I
when
feel like it's
neighbor.
a recent. It's a recent player.
Yes, no doubt, no
Is
doubt.
that fair to say?
That is very fair to say.
I got this answer, man. I know it. That's my listen. I want 50% of the winnings. Whoever gets this right, because I just gave you a good hint.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And Joe guesses OBJ, Neighbors, and Jefferson. No, no. And here's final hint: is it's not a wide
Oh,
receiver. It's not a wide receiver.
I got the answer. Damn it! I hate the
Well,
competitor in me is so angry right now.
I know. You know what, Joey B, give us the answer because so nobody got it right, but because JB included Neighbors and OBJ in the same guess, I'm gonna give him a Hooks Rub award for this chat, despite not getting the full answer. But Joey B, tell us it's Malik Neighbors 123, Odell Beckham Jr. 122, and who is in third with 112 receptions through 17 games?
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, the tight end for the
I
Las
knew
Vegas
it
Raiders. That is correct. That is
because
correct.
he
That's
beat
because
Neighbors out last year for the most in a season, and he wasn't a wide receiver. So Neighbors got the record.
Joey B knows ball, dude. He knows talking
Come
ball.
on,
He
baby.
knows ball. Hey, JB too. Um, So we're gonna hit you, even though you didn't get Bowers, you did have Neighbors and OBJ both in it. A2, thanks for playing. We're gonna get you some hooks. You're gonna win a trivia one of these days soon. We'll get you some hooks, and you're a diehard, so we'll take care of you too. But JB, you're our winner tonight. So here's what you got to do: you have to direct message me on Instagram. It's PL on NFL as the handle. You're gonna send me your name, your address, and your email. I'll get that over to Jared from Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, and he'll get you some great flavor to put on that steak on the grill, whether you're at home, whether you're at the stadium, if you're in the J lot with Joey B celebrating his birthday, whatever it is.
I'm bringing
We're
it. I'm bringing it to the tailgate.
Exactly. So JB2, you have to direct message me name, address, and email address, and we'll get you set up with hooks, rubs, and spices. So reminder before we wrap up with a final uh, comment or two here, my bookie is where you got to tail all of Pat's picks. Use the promo code on the bottom of the screen, Leonard, for special deposit match, and also a lot of ways to play on my bookie. Hooks, rubs, and spices, as we've said, code there is talking ball for all the great flavors. And Boom Chaga mushroom super drink. You all know the deal. Put it in your coffee, water, tea. It'll give you a kick. It's got some health benefits to it. Doesn't have any kind of taste, really. People say, does it taste bad? I'm like, it doesn't taste like anything at all. And they have some cold teas too that are delicious as well. I'm a big iced tea guy, so I love the cold teas. Boomchaga.com. Start feeling the difference there. Talking ball 25. All right, Joey B, prediction time. Kansas City Chiefs, New York Giants, Sunday Night Football. You'll be tailgating, celebrating the birthday. You'll be going into the stadium, trying to celebrate a win. What do you think ultimately is going to happen in prime time?
If we get week 1 Giants,
Yeah.
28-10 Chiefs. If we get week 2 Giants, I'll say 31-28 Giants.
I love it. I love it. Door number 1 and door number 2.
That's my predictions.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so I think that ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a crazy high scoring game. I like the Chiefs. To your point about which Giants team is it, I like the Chiefs to win like 27-10, something like that. I think that Spagnolo, he's just going to attack them so differently from the way that the Cowboys defended the Giants that I think early on, it's just by nature going to be a slog figuring out how to adjust to what Spags is working. And then, maybe you hit something here and there. And it's not like the Chiefs are unbeatable for sure, but I just think they're going to force Russell Wilson to score and convert in the red zone like he hasn't been able to, rather than giving up what's over top. I mean, they held Jalen Hurts to 101 passing yards
Right.
in a game. So that's
Do
where
you
I
think
stand. But yeah, what?
do you think that if it's bad early, we see Jackson Dart?
So it's funny you asked that because I was going to ask you a similar question. So let me put this back to you this way. If let's say the Giants are down 17-3 at half, right? Are the fans booing and calling for Dart? Like, do you think you guys, even after 37 points in Dallas, would you guys be restless enough at that point to say, no, listen, like we're about to fall 0-3, or would you wait and
I
see? Is it
think
like,
I think we'd ride it out. I think Russ earned himself 2 more weeks.
hmm,
I think Russ, with that performance, I think Russ earned himself 2 more weeks. So I don't think the fans would be calling him like that halftime. But I think if we lose that game, yeah, they're gonna be like, all right, we've seen enough. He's 1-2,
hmm,
in performances, and 0-3 altogether. It's time to move the. Because what do you do if you're Dable? You're on the hot seat.
I
And what's
know.
Mara thinking? What's Mara thinking? How patient is John Mara going to be? I'm going to have a hard time if I lose Saquon Well, you lost Saquon, and he won a Super Bowl. And what did you do? We're gonna run it back one more time. We're gonna give him another chance. And
Yeah.
then you lost Danny Dimes, and he's out here looking like Steve Young under the Niners. And what do you? What we're 0-3. Like,
It's
what do you
funny.
do?
It's funny. Like Simeon mentions, he says, let Russ go 0-5 and then get the boot. And there's all different thoughts of like how long he deserves or you should give him or whatever. What I think about too in regards to that is, as you just said, Joey, it's like for Dable, what is the spot? What is the time? What is the amount of losses where pulling the quarterback is the right move and is worth the juice is worth the squeeze? Like, in other words, if you, let's say you go 0-5 and then you bench Russ, you're like, well, now we're going to Jackson to develop Jackson. And that's what he's selling to Mara. Like, if you're John Mara, so right now the Giants have lost 13 of the last 14 games going back to last season. At that point, it'll be like we've lost 18 of our last 19 games.
Yes.
So for Dable, that's what's so weird about this. Why bringing them back, it makes this awkward if it continues to slide. It's like, so at that point, what? John Mara's supposed to say, okay, well, yeah, you can't win a single game, but like, we really
Right.
believe in you to develop Jackson for another year and a half. It's like, at that point, it's too
No.
late. That's why I come down on. I still think, I thought how you said it was perfect. It's like in the middle of this game, given how the offense did last game, it's hard to just say enough. I've seen enough. But if the game ends that way and it's 0-3, and there's another home game coming up, that's where I think it goes
Right.
turns up.
Like you're gonna and not for nothing. Imagine this right now. Imagine how good they did in Dallas, right? The
Mm.
preseason fans were hyped. Man, we look good. We scored 30 points all three games. Imagine if we don't score a touchdown again at home.
Right, right.
We're kicking field goals in the red zone. We can't get a touchdown at home again another year at our home opener. You know what really killed me though was last season. You go 3-14 in your 100th year season. Like there was so much specialness poured into that season. Neighbors coming in, them re-releasing number one for him.
Yeah.
The jerseys, the legacy days. Um, so much went into that season. About this is our 100th year. Let's get it. And it turns out to be the absolute worst season in the 100 years of our history, right?
Mm.
And you bring them back. Right now, the
Wow.
Giants look like the smartest kid in special ed. It's not even. What are we doing? We're just out here
Yeah.
licking windows. That's what they got us out here doing. Like the fans are getting frustrated, man. We're used to having winning. We want something to be proud about. We want something. New York, New Jersey area, blue collar, prideful people, right? And the whole
Yeah.
city's been renovated and revitalized, and the football team is just like sad.
Yeah.
And I live
Yeah.
upstate New York. I live close to Buffalo. You know how much Buffalo crap I get? And I tell them all the time, I got two words for you, buddy. Wide right. Talk to me later.
Joey, this has been awesome. What would you like to plug anything? I know you're stand-up comedian, you're working man. I mean, you got so much going on and you're so talented too. And I really appreciate you sharing your talents with us tonight.
Dude, I appreciate you having me. I don't want to plug nothing, man. I'm honored, man. I've been following you for a couple years now. I remember when you started out just, doing this for, craps and gigs. And, there
Yeah.
was no ticker at the bottom and you were handing out coffee every once in a while. And now look, now you got to be a subscriber to watch it. Common folk can't even watch this thing. You got to be a subscriber. And I like it, man. Like, I like what you do. I go to bat for you, man. I get hate. I forget somebody called you. What they call you, the Don Cohen of the New York Giants or something. Somebody said you're like you're with that guy. He's like the Don Cohen. I think that's the name they said. And I'm like, I don't even know who that is, but it sounds like an insult. But I'm like, that's my guy. I'm like, that's my guy, bro. And every time someone gives you crap, I'm like, He says what he wants. He says what he feels. And I always bring up he broke Kadarius Tony, and people thought he was crazy. And look, 2 weeks later, Tony was gone. So I was like, I like the guy, and you're nice to me. I'm not, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of the world. You treat people how they treat you. You
Yeah.
know, 20 people could say I hate that guy, Pat. But you know what? Pat's good to me, man. So I don't have a reason to hate him. If you don't like him, that's your business. But I appreciate it. I love this. I think that a lot of people, if a lot more people in your position did something like this, it would
Mhm.
grow the sport more. It would grow the fan bases more. Like, not many people, not many beat writers do this. Not
No.
many people do this at all, and you get insight. Like, I love coming on here after a game and like, hey Pat, what are you thinking? What's going on in the locker room? What are people saying? What are people feeling? Like, because as a fan, especially as a diehard, like, it feels like I'm with you in the room. I feel like I know more, and even owning a barbershop. I own a barbershop, so you know how much, like, there's so much barbershop talk every day, especially during football season, about what's your team doing, what's this, and it's like, hey man, this guy I listened to brought up this point last night and this point, and they're like, nah, I heard this, and it's like, nah, man, I'm telling you, listen to it. It keeps it fueled, man. It's a great thing you do. I think it's really undervalued, and I think that hopefully you grow this thing more and it becomes, who knows, you could be the next Pat McAfee.
Hey, man. That's the dream. That's the dream. Get you on Super
And I'll
Bowl
be
radio.
I'll bring me with you. Don't forget the little people, Pat.
I was gonna say, get you on Super Bowl Radio Row with me when I'm up
I'm in,
on the
dog.
big
I'm
stage.
in.
No,
I'm
I
in.
thank you for saying that. And you are, one of our, I mean, biggest and most consistent supporters. You're always here. You're always chipping in super chats. You're always chipping in great conversation starters. Your boots on the ground when you're sitting there at the stadium behind the bench, telling us what's going on the sidelines. But the only reason it's grown is because people like you are invested in it and out there telling people to come listen, come watch. And I'm very grateful. We should definitely do this again down the road. I got talking
Yeah.
ball swag coming to you. I promise. I know I keep
I
telling you it's
appreciate
coming.
it.
It's not there.
Yeah, it's been, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 4 years in the making for the Talking Ball swag.
It's
We
like,
are
I just
finally,
want to,
it's gonna be epic.
when I do it, I want to do it right. That's
I'm gonna
it.
be sleeping in it. I'm gonna be snuggling. I'm gonna be like, yo, look, I might not take it off. If I wear it and we win, it's not coming off. Okay.
Oh, that's right, dude.
I'm gonna
That's
be
what I
like,
got
I'm
to do.
never washing this sweater again.
Time it right when the team turns around. No, thank you so much. Thank
Right.
you to everybody else who's been in here all
Appreciate
night.
it.
Um, Gonna wrap this up shortly. Joey B, stick around up when I say goodbye. But for everybody, this has been Talking Ball live with Pat Leonard. Remember, the best way to support our channel is to first subscribe PL and NFL on YouTube. You support our sponsors, MyBookie, Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, Boom Chaga Mushroom Super Drink, and Salad for Men. There's the hooks right there. Joey B's flexing
Smoking
that right now.
sweetness, baby.
Smoke and sweetness was the Giants are trying to do on Sunday night. And what Joey B will be doing in the parking lot, smoking some sweetness.
Dude,
You
come see
also
me.
have that's
J18. That's what I want to plug.
J18.
I want to plug the J18 guys because they do a hell of a tailgate, man. They're awesome. It's a little hip hop, it's a little hip hop, but it's fun, man. Those guys are a good time. They're great people. They welcome, like, we get fans at that tailgate. People come from Germany, Scotland, France. Like, yeah,
Wow.
guys from like all over the world. When they come to MetLife, they literally stop at this tailgate. Like, we've seen this on Instagram. It's a great tailgate. If you haven't been there, stop by. Come check me out. I'll be there Sunday at like 3 o'clock, and we will be rocking.
I love it. I love it. I will try my best, but like I said, arrivals may beckon early. The last reminder, everybody, is while we're live, always please hit those like buttons. That engagement tells the YouTube algorithm live football content is here. Come join come subscribe, come join the community. If you're not a subscriber, as Joey B mentioned, and you can't comment on these, if you just click subscribe after 5 minutes, it'll let you jump in the conversation. But this conversation will continue Sunday night after the game. So in the meantime, we have a good episode with Benny Fowler up where we talk Giants, Daniel Jones, Denver Broncos, Tom Brady, all kinds of stuff. He gives a Super Bowl prediction, some interesting things he thinks is going to happen down the NFL season. So you can check that out on the channel. But after Giants Chiefs, and GCN actually is right on time, he says, what is the schedule for Sunday night? The schedule for Sunday night is, because I'm not on really a deadline, I have nothing to do after the game for the daily news other than pop a few quotes into my story for the web. I can go online right after basically the locker room. So it'll be late because it's Sunday night football, but anybody who's around, who's wired, who's driving home from the game, whatever it is, like Joey B in the car.
No, Pat. I am
What?
sticking around Sunday night after the game.
Oh, are you? Interesting. Why is that?
Well, because I don't have to leave till I took Monday off because it's a late game,
Oh,
so I'm gonna
nice.
leave Monday morning. So there might be an old fashioned somewhere after the game and a cigar.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Not a
Now
bad
we're
idea.
talking. Now we're talking.
Not a bad idea. Hey, Simeon, you are a diehard and awesome. Sorry I didn't get to these comments. I saw you say peace before we got out of here. So if you're listening, if you're watching, we love you. Thanks for being here. It's just when you have a guest on, you don't get to everything. You also get a bunch of super chats in the queue. You stick to that. So okay, no problem. Cool. Um, last reminder is Sunday night, whether it's a win or a loss, guys. Talking Ball post game live really is my favorite thing because it's right after everything's fresh. I see and hear so much in the locker room that, listen, if you read what I write in the daily news after these games and during the week, you're going inside the Giants locker room. But there are so many additional details that I can bring to you that you're not going to get anywhere else at that time. Fresh, seeing it live, the look on people's faces. I've known these people for years. You get to read body language. You see things happen in the hallways. You see a guy limping out on crutches, whatever it is. I have that. It's bringing it straight to you after the game. And so stay tuned
Best in the
after Sunday
biz.
night's game. Yeah, stay tuned after Sunday night. We'll bring that to you. We'll bring more content. Hopeful in the coming weeks to have Jordan Rodon on here as a guest from ESPN. He's got a book out now, so we can talk about his book, and you guys can ask someone else who's close to the team some questions, and we can have some disagreements, I'm sure, and bat it around. So I'm getting excited about Talking Ball post game live. I'm getting excited about hopefully stopping by J18. Joey B, happy birthday. Thanks so much
Appreciate it,
for
my
all your
man.
help tonight. Great show. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you.